The aroma of roasting turkey and sweet potatoes filled my small apartment. The warmth from the oven made the kitchen feel even cozier. It was Thanksgiving Eve, and I was happily preparing for the next day's feast. The table was already set with all the ingredients I needed. As I chopped vegetables, my mind drifted to a podcast episode I'd listened to earlier. It was a fascinating episode. It was about telepathic experiences, stories of people receiving warnings and premonitions through unexplained channels. The stories were intriguing yet hard to believe. I had always been a skeptic, dismissing such tales as mere coincidence or wishful thinking. I couldn't help but wonder though. Yet as I hummed along to the radio, a strange uneasiness crept over me. It was a feeling I couldn't quite shake off. I thought about my guest list for tomorrow. Family, check. Close friends, check. Everyone was accounted for. Then my mind went to Sarah, my Sarah, the one person who was missing from the list. We hadn't spoken in months. The silence between us was deafening. The last time we did, it ended badly, as it always seemed to these days. Our conversations had become more arguments than discussions. Our once unbreakable bond had become fractured, irreparable. It was heartbreaking to think about how things had changed. A wave of sadness washed over me. I missed her more than I cared to admit. Maybe this Thanksgiving could be a chance for reconciliation. Perhaps an invitation could mend what was broken. I placed the knife down, feeling a sudden unease gripping me. It was as if the weight of the blade mirrored the heaviness in my heart. The kitchen, usually a place of comfort, now felt like a stage for my growing anxiety. I had known Sarah for over a decade. We had been each other's constant companions throughout high school and college. We shared secrets, dreams, and a bond that felt unbreakable. But over the past year, our relationship had become increasingly strained. Sarah's mental health had deteriorated, and her once vibrant personality had become eclipsed by paranoia and unpredictable anger. She pushed away anyone who tried to help, accusing them of betrayal or ill intentions. I had always been patient and understanding with Sarah, attributing her behavior to her struggles. But her aggression escalated, and I found myself walking on eggshells around her, afraid to say or do anything that might trigger an outburst. The breaking point came when she accused me of trying to sabotage her life. It was a hurtful and baseless claim, and it left me emotionally drained. I felt a mix of sadness and frustration, wondering how our friendship had come to this. It was a hurtful and baseless claim, and it left me emotionally drained. I felt a mix of sadness and frustration, wondering how our friendship had come to this. I knew I had to distance myself from Sarah for my well-being. It was a heartbreaking decision, but I couldn't subject myself to her toxic behavior any longer. The thought of inviting her to Thanksgiving filled me with a sense of dread. I cared about her deeply, but I also feared her unpredictable nature. The radio played on, oblivious to my internal turmoil. I tried to shake off the unease that had settled over me. I told myself it was just pre-holiday stress, amplified by the strange podcast I had listened to. It was ridiculous to think that I, a staunch skeptic, was suddenly experiencing premonitions. But deep down, a seed of doubt had been sown. Just as I was about to dismiss the thought entirely, my phone buzzed, jolting me back to reality. It was a text message from our mutual friend, Emily. "Hey, have you heard from Sarah lately? She's been acting really strange. She was just ranting about you, saying some really nasty things. I'm worried about her." A wave of cold fear washed over me. My heart pounded in my chest. The timing was too eerie, too coincidental. It was as if my earlier thoughts about Sarah had manifested into reality. Before I could process Emily's message, my phone rang. It was my mother. "Sweetheart, I know you were thinking about inviting Sarah to Thanksgiving," she began, her voice unusually serious. "But I have a bad feeling about it. I think she's dangerous. Please don't invite her." My mother had never been one for drama or unfounded fears. She was the kind of person who faced challenges head-on, never letting emotions cloud her judgment. She was a pragmatic woman who always encouraged me to see the best in people. Her advice was often grounded in reality, and she had a way of making even the most daunting problems seem manageable. But her tone was different this time. It was filled with an urgency that I had never heard before, a stark contrast to her usual calm demeanor. It was laced with a genuine concern that sent shivers down my spine. Her words echoed in my mind, amplifying my own growing sense of unease. I spent the rest of the evening wrestling with a maelstrom of emotions, fear, confusion, and a chilling sense of validation. It was as if my worst fears were being confirmed in real time. The telepathic warning, if that's what it was, had been confirmed by both a friend and my normally level-headed mother. Their shared concern made it impossible to dismiss the feeling as mere paranoia. The universe, it seemed, was sending me a message that was both cryptic and unsettling, urging me to be cautious. As I locked my apartment door that night, I couldn't escape the feeling that I had narrowly avoided a dangerous situation. The sense of relief was overshadowed by lingering dread. The experience left an indelible mark on my psyche, forcing me to confront the possibility that there were forces at work beyond our understanding. It was a humbling realization, and for the first time in my life, I was truly afraid of what I didn't know. The unknown had always been a source of curiosity, but now it was a source of fear.